In this video, I'm going to tell you about the work I did to char the siding that you're seeing here as it's being installed on a new construction. This is called Yakisugi. It's a Japanese method of preserving wood purely by charring it and then covering it with some kind of oil. I used tung oil. The wood, after about a year, is house still under construction, but getting closer, has faded in the places that receive direct sunlight. It's a little darker on the west and north side of the house still. The wood came from local cedar trees cut at a local sawmill. It's rough cut and it's not kiln dried. I charred the wood with this oven kiln that I built. It is fueled by wood offcuts from the construction process. The cedar boards are pulled through at the intake with this roller that I built that's motorized. They exit the other side charred. However, this board was charred earlier on the top and now it's been flipped and it's currently just being charred on the bottom. A second roller pulls the boards through at the outtake. Next, I'm going to show some footage with audio that I took in the process of charring some wood, so you can kind of see what it was like for me in the moment. I'm just using offcuts from the construction process. So here's little bits of pieces that are left over from cutting the tongues on the sides of the boards, and then these are just pieces of the framing materials. That it helps to have some of each because the bigger boards, thicker ones, will stay lit longer and kind of maintain the fire, while the small pieces really keep it bright and hot. Here we have a board exiting that's just been finished. It's a 16-footer and a new 16-footer coming through. And yeah, they're a little bit lit sometimes as they exit. So I keep a hose very close by, but I've actually never caught anything on fire that I didn't want to catch on fire. Yeah, I have a couple of angle irons making kind of a little rail. I thought that would be good to keep the tongues from burning, but you can see they still burn a little bit, and sometimes I blow them out. Just, stop the fire. Or you can just cap them with your hand. Yeah, I have to straighten it out a little bit, and I think that if I had built these motorized rollers on something that was more sturdy and with two legs instead of one, they might have held the boards more firmly. Then again, every board is different. Some of them are warped and cupped and warped. It's just a lot of excitement. But you can see that there is time to relax while you do this. And yeah, there's the one off on the other side. It's already managed to get all the way to the end and fell off. But that's just because I'm making a video and not paying close attention. I made some really primitive rollers there to help support the boards as they come out. I've done about 200 boards, and at this point I'm down to my last 5, so I'm not that concerned about optimizing it to perfection. I'm pretty satisfied, actually. If there are little missed parts, like let's see, here's an example of a board. Oh, this is all the work I've done so far this morning. See the knots, they're not as blackened as the rest of the wood. Sometimes I go back with a blowtorch and just hit those, and sometimes, yeah, there's a knot hole. This is rough cedar. It was not kiln dried. It would be considered raw lumber. It's from locally sourced cedar trees near my house here, and the sawmill doesn't have a kiln, so that was an acceptable alternative to me to buying much more expensive kiln dried wood. We just had it sit for about a month under plastic and light heaters. And now I think going through the oven really, solves that whole problem of kiln dry, because this will kill any bugs in the wood and really lower the moisture content further. Incidentally, under that tarp is all the work I did the last 2 days. It's about 40 boards, and I'm doing the last 12 this morning here. Next, I want to describe the oven details a bit more. This is a U-shaped oven design where the top of the U is where you're looking in now, and you add the wood. There's a base layer of bricks on their widest side, and then on the edges of the U, they're standing on their narrower edge. And these rectangular tubes of metal are just there to hold a grate up a little bit so that air can be drawn in and add to the fuel. The sides here have an angle iron that holds that brick layer up, so you can have a slot that the boards come through. And then there are additional angle irons that go the 90 degrees to those, and they're like a track for the wood to go on. They were also intended to kind of alleviate some of the burning of the thinner material, the tongue and the groove on the sides, which I think worked fairly well. The next thing I want to describe are the rollers that I built, and they are each built out of a motor that is a DC motor, and we'll zoom in here in a sec on one of them. The DC motor in the one that we're kind of looking at now is a scooter motor, electric scooter motor, and it was something I had left over from another project. It has a bicycle sprocket and a bicycle chain that then runs the roller, which is a PVC pipe. The top red wheels are skateboard wheels. The little electronic item off to the right is a pulse width modulator. So this is a DC motor, and the pulse width modulator allows you to reduce the speed of the motor. The AC to DC converter is an old laptop power supply, and it's a Dell laptop power supply, which pleases me no end that I was able to recycle for this purpose. It's on the back side, and it was just in something discarded that I was able to use. And here you can see all the wires wrapped around. It's a mess, just like it is when you have your power supply attached to these old laptops in the past. A rat's nest of cords. The other roller had a windshield wiper motor, which wasn't quite as strong and not quite as successful, but I think either one works. And both are readily available from Amazon, should you want to buy your own. The chimney is just some duct materials that I got from a big box store. I think that's everything that you probably need to know. I'll list as many of the materials and that I can think of in the notes. I found it a really quiet and peaceful process compared to using propane, for sure, which is extremely noisy and burning all kinds of fossil fuels that are bad for the environment. The pollution that comes from the propane burning is not healthy. This was very pleasant. When the charring ends, you're still not finished. Charring is about the halfway point, and next I wanted to brush the boards so I could remove the alligator skin. It's very fragile, and I thought it would flake off anyway. So here I am brushing it with a tool that's specifically meant for brushing anything. However, I'm using it for this Yakisugi process, and I doubled the number of brushes. So I added an extension to the axis of the rollers and bought a second brush. The board on the right has already been brushed, so it takes that really dark layer off and leaves kind of chocolatey look. Oiling will then darken it again. um, we'll see that in a moment. So yeah, this was one of the least pleasant parts of the project. And dirty. The boards here are post the brushing phase, and they're ready to get oiled. We'll get to the oiling in a moment here. The oiling here is with a tongue oil applied with a brush, and we just slopped it on there as quickly as we could. This was fast and fun and kind of rewarding. As you can see, it just really makes the boards beautiful. Tongue oil is a drying oil. You can also use boiled linseed oil. I like the tongue oil. It's really good quality and it smells great. Takes a few days to dry in summer, so we put them on drying racks for as long as we could between charring more boards, and then when we could take them off the racks, we'd stack them off to the side. And here you're seeing maybe 100 boards, so this is about half of what I did, and it was a big job. It took me around 12 days, I think. So a big commitment. It's messy, but rewarding. And this is me after a day of brushing. It definitely threw those clothes away. Thank you for watching, and I hope this proves useful to you. And if you really are committed, I'm sure you would find this a successful experience too. Thanks for watching.